Imagine waking up one morning to find the world you know completely transformed. The polar ice caps, the majestic frozen peaks of the Himalayas, the vast glaciers of Greenland and Antarctica, gone. In their place, roaring seas flood the land. Skyscrapers drown beneath rising tides. Ancient coastlines vanish. Humanity faces a new planet, reshaped by water. This is not science fiction. It's what would happen if every last piece of ice on Earth melted. Our Earth holds a staggering amount of water locked away in ice. From the colossal ice sheets of Antarctica and Greenland to the intricate network of mountain glaciers, these frozen reservoirs are vital. They regulate global temperatures, influence ocean currents, and provide fresh water to billions. But what if this delicate balance shattered? What if the very foundations of our climate system gave way? The thought is terrifying, yet it's a scenario scientists have meticulously modeled. It's a future where the familiar blue marble we call home becomes a vastly different, more hostile place. This isn't just about losing beautiful landscapes, it's about the complete upheaval of human civilization, a challenge unlike any we have ever faced. Right now, Earth's ice locks away enough water to raise global sea levels by about 70 meters. That's more than 230 feet. Imagine the oceans swelling not gradually over centuries, but with an accelerating, relentless force, swallowing entire coastlines. This isn't just a minor inconvenience, it's an existential threat to our coastal cities and communities. New York City, its iconic skyline would be submerged, a ghostly monument beneath the Atlantic. London? A memory beneath the waves, its historic landmarks lost forever. Shanghai, Mumbai, Sydney, all underwater. The very map of the world would be redrawn, with oceans pushing hundreds of kilometers inland, erasing centuries of human development. Billions of people currently live in coastal regions, their lives intertwined with the sea. Overnight, their homes, their livelihoods, their entire communities would vanish. Entire nations like the low-lying Netherlands or the densely populated Bangladesh would cease to exist as viable landmasses. And the flood wouldn't stop with cities. Farmlands, factories, vital ports, the very lifeblood of human civilization, would all be consumed by the encroaching waters. The world would face the largest, most desperate migration in history. Billions forced inland, searching for dry land, for safety, for a new beginning. Borders would crumble under the sheer weight of humanity on the move, leading to unprecedented social and political instability. Wars over dwindling land and resources would erupt, not in centuries, but potentially within decades as nations grapple with unimaginable pressures. But the floods are only the beginning of this catastrophic chain reaction. Without polar ice, Earth's climate balance collapses entirely. The vast white caps of ice and snow act like giant mirrors reflecting sunlight back into space, helping to keep our planet cool. Remove them, and the planet absorbs far more heat, like a dark sponge soaking up the sun's energy. Global temperatures would soar to levels unseen in millions of years. The Arctic, once a frozen wilderness, would turn into an open, dark sea, absorbing even more heat. Warm currents would ripple across the planet, fundamentally changing wind patterns and intensifying storms. Tropical belts would expand northward and southward, deserts would spread relentlessly, and rainfall patterns would become utterly chaotic, leading to prolonged droughts in some regions and devastating deluges in others. Imagine the Amazon rainforest, the lungs of the earth, choked by unprecedented heat and drought, succumbing to widespread fires. Central America, once lush and vibrant, scorched and barren. Meanwhile, Europe could drown in superstorms as moisture-laden air fuels hurricanes that tear through once temperate lands, leaving destruction in their wake. Our weather would not simply change. It would mutate into something unrecognizable, extreme, and utterly unpredictable. Ecosystems would collapse worldwide. Coral reefs, already struggling, would vanish. Countless species, unable to adapt to such rapid and extreme changes, would face extinction. Crops would fail on a global scale, leading to widespread famine that would stalk every continent. Humanity would learn the true, terrifying meaning of the phrase climate chaos, as the very systems that sustain life buckle under the strain. Picture a world map. Now, with a heavy heart, erase the coastlines. Redraw the borders hundreds of kilometers inland. That's how far the ocean would reach if sea levels rose by 70 meters. The familiar contours of our continents would be utterly transformed, creating a new, alien geography. In North America, Florida is gone, swallowed entirely by the Atlantic. The Mississippi Delta expands into a vast inland sea, reshaping the heartland. The U.S. capital, Washington, D.C., lies beneath the tide, its monuments submerged. In South America, the vibrant city of Buenos Aires is a memory. Rio de Janeiro reduced to an archipelago of peaks, its famous beaches long gone. In Europe, the Mediterranean swells northward, erasing Venice, flooding Rome, and pushing deep into Spain and France. The British Isles shrink dramatically as London and much of southern England slip beneath the sea. Asia suffers even more profoundly. China's most fertile plains disappear underwater, displacing hundreds of millions. India loses entire states to the relentless tide. In Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia, all vanish into a shallow, expansive sea. Jakarta, Manila, Bangkok, once bustling capitals, now drowned cities. And then there is Africa. The fertile Nile Delta disappears. Cairo drowned. West Africa loses its vital coastal heartlands, while Madagascar fragments into smaller, isolated islands. The face of Earth would no longer be familiar. It would become an alien planet, reshaped by melted ice. Now ask yourself, where do we go? With billions displaced, humanity would retreat to highlands, plateaus, mountains. But these places are limited, often already densely populated or unsuitable for large-scale agriculture. Cities like Denver, Johannesburg, and Mexico City might survive. But could they possibly hold the flood of refugees, the sheer weight of humanity seeking sanctuary? Nations would fracture under the immense pressure. Governments would collapse, unable to cope with the scale of the crisis. Food becomes more valuable than gold. Wars over water, ironically in a world drowning with too much of it, become the new normal. Diseases would spread rapidly in crowded, unsanitary refugee zones. Infrastructure would crumble, unable to withstand the environmental onslaught and the lack of maintenance. The modern world, with its internet, satellites, and global trade, would falter and potentially collapse under the sheer strain. Humanity would stare into the abyss of societal breakdown. But the struggle wouldn't just be physical, it would be profoundly psychological. Generations would grow up never knowing stable coastlines, never seeing the cities their ancestors built, never experiencing the world as we know it. The loss of history, culture, and identity would be immense. Civilization itself would be redefined if it survived at all, reduced to a desperate struggle for existence. This may sound like pure science fiction, a dystopian nightmare, but Earth has lived through ice-free ages before. During the age of the dinosaurs 100 million years ago, there were no polar caps. Sea levels were over 70 meters higher than today. Crocodiles swam in the Arctic. Tropical forests grew where icy tundras exist today. The planet survived. Life adapted. The crucial difference is simple. Back then, there were no humans, no skyscrapers, no billions living on fragile coastlines, no intricate global civilization to collapse. Earth survived, but could we? Could our complex societies, our interconnected economies, our very way of life, endure such a radical and rapid transformation? The real terror is not just what could happen, but how fast. Scientists predict that if all ice melted, it would take thousands of years for the full 70-meter rise. But with accelerating global warming, we already see the first cracks. Greenland's ice sheet collapsing at an alarming rate, Antarctica's massive ice shelves breaking into the sea. These are not distant threats, they are happening now. If left unchecked, rising seas won't wait for millennia to cause catastrophic damage. Significant life-altering rises will come within centuries, perhaps even within our children's and grandchildren's lifetimes. Your grandchildren could live in a world where Miami is gone, where Venice is a myth, where Bangladesh is a vast, shallow sea. This future isn't set in stone. It's a reflection of what we choose to do or not to do. Earth will survive. The question is, will we? If this vision made you think, hit like, share it, and tell me what you believe our future could look like.